Game theory yet again. Whew. Welcome back to Emoji Games YouTube channel. How are you guys doing? So there is need for an update of our lessons on game theory. It's now looking like something that I have to be doing every year. Like game theory now looks like a series that I need to be adding to every year. And of course it is very, very comprehensive. So whatever it is that we are doing is just limited to the scope of the class or the level that we are attending to. Now, before now, or you probably already know that game theory is just the analysis of situations where each member or each party involved takes strategic decisions. Right, the analysis of situations in which the parties involved make or take strategic decisions, and we've been able to like explain to ourselves that the interpretation of the strategic decision there is just saying that um, the players' decisions are independent, they are interdependent of one another. That is what I'm going to do if I happen to be one of the players in a particular game, in a particular situation, is going to be a function of what someone else has done or what someone else will do. So like is that interdependence that is pretty much the strategic decision that people are taking. And then of course if we've told ourselves that we have a couple of elements okay in a game. So you have the players, you have the strategies, and then you have their payoffs. Okay, basically, so players, strategies, and payoff. Okay, cool. Now we've discussed we've discussed a part of game theory before. So what we really want to like look at in this class is dynamic and sequential games. And then there is this example, like I want to solve this example before we enter into dynamic and sequential games. So there's this example that I want us to like solve and pay attention to. It's a long comprehension passage, okay? So I'm not going to be writing all of it, but I'm going to be like we are going to pinpoint the important things that we need to know in all of that passage. So yeah, let's go. In studying for his Echo 101 exam, so this is an hypothetical passage. So let me just let me put example here. Okay. So in studying for his economics exam, Nifemi is concerned about only two things. So now we've known the name of one person. So this is one of the players, Nifemi. All right. So he's concerned about only two things. Number one, his grade and the amount of time he spent on studying. So he's concerned about his grades and B, time spent. Let me just call it study time. Study time. Okay, let's proceed. So in studying for his Echo 101 exam, Nifemi is concerned about only two things: his grade and the amount of time he spent studying. A good grade will fetch him a benefit of 20. All right. So a good grade will give him a benefit of 20. Then an average grade, a benefit of 5. So an average grade will give him a benefit of 5. And a poor grade, right, will give him a benefit of 0. Of course, a poor grade. Nobody wants poor grades. Poor will give him a benefit of 0. Equals 0. So these are going to write now. Give me a benefit of 0. By studying a lot, right, Nifemi will incur a cost of 10. So if he studies a lot, okay, study a lot will equal, let me call it costs, right, will be 10. If he studies a lot, the cost is 10. Then by studying a little, a cost of 6. Study a little, a cost of 6. So is there anything else? Okay, I think that's it about that particular part. It says, moreover, if Nifemi studies a lot and all other students study a little, so that's already giving us an idea of a different kind of player. So Nifemi is a player in this game. All other students would be another player in this game. So we have all other students, all other students. So those are the two players. So Nifemi is so far so good. So we now have if Nifemi studies a lot and all other students study a little, he will get a good grade and they will get a poor one. Now, if they study a lot and he studies a little, the reverse is the case. That is, he's going to get a poor grade, they are going to get a good one. And finally, if he or all students, if he and all the students study with the same amount of time, everyone gets average grades. So other students share Nifemi's preferences regarding grades and study time. So that means grade gives them the same thing for Nifemi, for his other guys. Then the cost to each of them too. The cost to him of studying a lot is the same cost to others, like the second player, right? And then study a little, whatever like that. So from everything that we are seeing here, let's go back to the question. The question says, moreover, if Nifemi studies a lot and all other students study a little, so those are two strategies. So that means study a lot is a strategy, then study a little is a strategy. So we'll just come. So Nifemi, then other students. So other students just kind of classified as one person. So study a lot. Let me call that one SL. Uh, Nifemi could decide to study a lot, SL. Study a little. Let me call this SM. Study a little, SL. Then study a lot, SM. Study a little, SL. This is S, not 5. Study a little, SL. So these are the strategies that these guys can take. So we have this. All right, so cool. So reading the other thing says, if Nifemi studies a lot and other students study a little, if he gets a good grade and they will get a poor one. So if Nifemi is studying a lot, he's going to get a good grade, which is 20. Others are going to get a poor one. So a poor grade is, I think that's 0. Then it says the reverse. If other students study a lot and if Nifemi studies a little, so this is other students. If they study a lot and if Nifemi studies a little, then Nifemi is going to get a poor grade and they are going to get a good one. So how are we doing this? I don't think this will be a problem at this stage. The first payoff is that of whoever is on this side, and then the second payoff is that of whoever is on this side here. So the first payoff is for Nifemi. So this is Nifemi, and other students. Like that's how it works. So whoever is on this side takes the first payoff, then you get what I'm trying to say. All right, good. Then now says is that all? So study. No. I think this is a mistake. This is a mistake. A mistake. So if Nifemi is studying a lot, he's going to get 20, comma. The others that are studying a little, they are going to get 0. I think this is fine. Others will study a lot. Okay. Then the next thing now says that if all of them study, using the same amount of time, spending the same amount of time, they are going to get average scores. So that means if they study, if Nifemi studies a lot and others study a lot, they are only going to get 5,5, like average scores. Then here too, they're going to get 5,5. So with that, we've been able to come up with the matrix with the normal form game. So is this correct? No, right? So I intentionally just did it this way, all right, but this is not perfectly correct. So the reason why this is not correct is that there is a cost attached to it. I know there we wrote, where's it? So cost of, remember this, cost of studying a lot and cost of studying a little. So the thing is that the payoff in games refer to net benefit, right? That is benefit minus cost. But like you don't have a lot of questions, or maybe we've not been dealing with questions that have been looking at costs, right? As part of payoffs. You just have payoffs like that, like just pay off the benefit, the benefit, the benefit. That is that the assumption is that cost is 0. But in this case now we've been given that we have cost, right? And these things, the cost is uniform, for Nifemi and as well as other students. So we need to factor in that cost. So all of these are payoff matrix should have the net benefit, not just the benefit. So what do I mean? Now look at this place now. Nifemi studies a lot, okay, or studies much, right? And then other students study much, they are getting 5. That's just the benefit that they are getting, right? But then remember, what is the cost of studying a lot? The cost is 10. So which means the net benefit for the both of them is 5 minus 10. 5 minus 10. So we are supposed to have this is supposed to be 5 minus 10, 5 minus 10. All right, because we need to like do the nets of the cost. Now, this part, Nifemi is studying a little, others are studying a lot. So what's the cost of studying a little? Is 6. So this is minus 6, minus 6. Then 20, these ones are studying a lot, so minus 10. They've got a cost of 10 to bear. Then the same thing here, Nifemi is studying a lot here. So this is 20 minus 10, comma, this 0 minus 6, because others are studying a little, and the cost of studying a little is 6. Then for this one, we are going to be having, since both of them are studying a little, so their net benefit is 5 minus 6, comma, 5 minus 6. I believe you understand this. So net benefit is just benefit minus cost. So let us now have the new payoff matrix. So Nifemi is here. So he's studying much, studying a little. Then you have others study much, then study a little. So we've got this. All right, and then that is like divide this. Let me just leave it that way. Let me just leave it that way. Okay. So here I'm going to be having minus 5, comma minus 5. Here minus 6, comma 10. 10, comma minus 6, minus 1, comma minus 1. So yeah, this is the correct way of matrix. Okay, the number form game. So what's the first question? So the first question is for us to model the situation, which is what we've done. We've modeled the situation like this, and it says the question went on to tell us strategies to use. Model the situation, having two players, others and Nefemi. Then the strategies is studying much and studying a little. Without even specifying it, that we should know that this is what you're supposed to do. So now you're done. Then it says what's the equilibrium outcome in the game, right? What is the equilibrium outcome in the game? So let's look at it. If Nifemi has chosen to study much, that is, he has chosen between minus 5 and 10. So we are left with minus 5 and minus 6 for the other person, like for others. Remember the way we used to do, just like kind of place your hand on Nifemi. I've told you that the first one is for Nifemi. So this is Nifemi, this is Nifemi, this is Nifemi, this is Nifemi. So just, if Nifemi has chosen to study much, just do as if minus 5 and 10 is not there. So which one will others prefer? They will prefer minus 5. Minus 5 is greater than minus 6. I believe you know that. All right. Then if the parent decides to study a little, so minus 6 is out, minus 1 is out. So between 10 and minus 1, what will the other people pick? Others will pick 10. All right. Now, if others have decided to study much, this is the way their own strategies arranged vertically. So you kind of close this part. So between minus 5 and minus 6, what will these guys pick? They will pick minus 5. And you close this one too, so study a little. What would Nifemi pick between 10 and minus 1? It's going to pick 10. So if you look at it, our equilibrium is here. Where both of them are to study a lot, so that's to study much. All right, so that's that. Then the next question now says, from the student perspective, is this the best outcome? Right? From the student perspective, is this the best outcome? So what can you say, about this? What can you say about this? Is this the best outcome for the student? So let's think about it critically. For us to answer that question, if it is their best outcome, so we'll have to go and look for their dominant strategies, right? Because that's what the question is basically asking us to do. So for Nifemi, okay, I think I can rub this parts. So for Nifemi, his payoffs are arranged this way. So he has minus 5, 10. If he studies much, he gets minus 5 and 10. If he studies a little, he gets minus 6 and minus 1. Minus 6 and minus 1. So if you look at this, minus 5 is better than minus 6. 10 is better than 1. So Nifemi's dominant strategy is to study much. Minus 5 is better than this. 10 is better than this. So his own dominant strategy. Is to study much. Now for others, their own strategies are arranged vertically. So they have the choice to study much like this or study a little. So if they decide to study much, they have minus 5 and 10. So you have minus 5 and 10 or minus 6 and minus 1. So if you look at this, it's the same thing. Minus 5 is better than minus 6, 10 is better than. So their own dominant strategy is to So their own dominant strategy is to study much as well. So others should study much. This is their dominant strategy. So if you look at it, the equilibrium is happening where they should both study much. Yeah, the other question that you might be asked is this game a prisoner's dilemma, game? Is it an example of a prisoner's dilemma? So you have to like cast your mind back to when we discussed prisoner's dilemma, that it's a game where the lack of cooperation of the players involved, leads to an inferior equilibrium, than if they had cooperated. So if they had cooperated, there would be a better equilibrium for the two players or for the players involved. That would be better than the Nash equilibrium that the game is resulting into, just because the players could not cooperate. So if you look at this game, right? So is there a better payoff for both parties, right? Is there a better payoff for both parties that is different from what the Nash equilibrium is? Of course, yes, there is a better payoff for both of them, which is at this place, minus one, minus one. So it is better for them to both get a payoff of minus one instead of getting a payoff of minus five and minus five, right? So in this case, this is an example of a prisoner's dilemma. So the same would just have both cooperated to like study a little, just study a little. Like, why should you get minus five when you could have gotten minus one, minus one? Minus one is greater than minus five, right? So they could have just studied a little and then they were going to get minus one, minus one. Okay, so this is an example of business dilemma. So there's a better equilibrium there for the two of them than what they are currently getting. Yeah, so that's just the thing about this particular kind of question. In case you come across it or you come across any question that involves cost, whatever, so know that you are not supposed to just close your eyes and say, okay, the cost data doesn't matter. So it should matter, and then you should know how to properly apply it. So if you are confused, so I would implore you to go over. Thank God it's a video, so go over the video again. You're going to understand it, and if you don't, then that means you need to revise, your understanding of game theory, like from the beginning. If something that might be confusing students is, okay, how do we know which one belongs to uh, which of the payoffs belongs to who? So I've said it that the guy on this side, uh, his payoff is the first number that you have. So this number, what's the second number? This, whenever you have, okay, let me put it this way: this number, this number, this number, and this number. And his own strategy is this way. So if he decides to study much, so you can either get a minus five when others are studying much as well, or you can get a 10 where others are studying a little. So in the same vein, if he's studying a little, you can get a minus six if others are studying much. You get a minus one where others are studying a little. So his own payoff is arranged this way. But for the other guys, their own payoffs are arranged in this manner, in a vertical manner. So, and if the first numbers belong to Nifemi, the guy here, that means the second numbers, all right, the second numbers, this one, and this one will belong to others. All right. So for others, just check if they are studying much, they can either get a minus five or a 10, depending on what Nifemi is doing. So if Nifemi is also studying more, then that means while others are getting minus 5 for studying much, Nifemi is also getting a minus 5. While others are getting 10 for studying much, Nifemi is getting a minus 6 for studying a little. This plays to the same thing. While others are studying a little, and Nifemi is studying much, others are getting a minus 6. And while others are studying a little, and Nifemi is also studying a little, um, Nifemi is getting a minus 1 here, and others are getting minus 1. So just understand it that way. It's not a difficult thing. So in our next lesson, we will now let us delve into dynamic and sequential games in full. Thank you.